Hi guys, welcome to Learning Electronics Repair. I made a couple of videos recently about the most useful tools you could have in the workshop. I made 2 of them, and today I have a few more things on my desk from AliExpress. So this is a little addition, if you like, to that. What do we have? Well, the first thing you see on the desk is this soldering iron handle. So this is KSGR. This is known as a 9501 handle. That's the style, if you like, although there are various different models of this. I'll show you in a minute. And this tip, what's special? Well, this is a BCM2. So this has a little hollow in the end. You see that, like a reservoir, sometimes called a hoof tip, these. And these are for drag soldering in particular. So you can fill that little indent with some solder, and then when you apply it to the joints, you have some solder already there. So especially for drag soldering around chips. Now, I did a video with the T245, but that was also this type of hoof, okay, and it was a larger one. And I commented that it was too big to get around some of the chips I wanted to work on. So what we're going to do today is try this one, BCM2. Let's see how good this is. And then we'll talk about handles. So these are the soldering iron handles 9501. Okay, there are a variety of different colours and models you can get. The most important factor is if you want a 4-pin or 5-pin connector on it. My soldering station is a 5-pin. What's so special about these handles? Well, I'll come to that in a moment. Let's have a quick look at the tips as well. And here we can see the BCM3 tips. So 1, €7.59, 3 for €17.19, free shipping. Okay, that is the larger one. But we're going to look at the BCM2 today. And the other item is this superpower turbo fan. Sometimes these are listed as violent fans. That made me think of vicious fans, which is something funnily enough I remember in my youth messing around with old cars, as you had these viscous fans and I called them vicious. Yeah, so vicious fan or violent fan or turbo fan, you'll find these are quite heavy actually for what they are. Okay, and obviously the main use that comes to mind with this is cleaning old circuit boards and computers and things full of dust and dirt, as we get a lot of here, and I'm sure you get similar where you are. But I have another idea where this may be useful as well, electronics based. So we'll have a look at that, but first let's have a look at this soldering iron and this tip. Let's see how well it works for drag soldering. Okay, so I mentioned these come in a 5-pin and a 4-pin version. That will depend on your soldering station, although I believe you can actually modify one to the other if you really need to do. This is my old soldering iron, T12, so you can see it's the same connector. And this is my old soldering iron handle. So this is getting quite worn out now. I've had this since 2019. The sensor in here is broken, so it no longer wakes up when you pick it up, okay. And this is a BC3 tip, which is the one I normally use. This is getting really quite worn out, and this is not my first of them. Here is my original one. You see it's bent almost. So 2 of these lasted me since 2019. That's some pretty good going, yeah. What I really like about this style of handle is that the distance between the end of the tip and your fingers is very close. And yet they don't slip, you get a good grip on that. This is aluminium alloy, but they don't get hot either. You can use them for long periods of time. And because you have such a short distance here, if you've got slightly shaky hands, and we all have some amount of shake in our hands, when the distance is less, you get less movement, okay? So that's what I really like about these handles. And we're ready to go. Okay, I'll just give that a little bit of a clean. Again, apply a bit of solder. We should be able to fill that reservoir up, like so. Okay. That actually makes it easy to apply solder to a joint. but we're going to try drag soldering with this and see how well it works. So drag soldering is a technique you use on these type of chips. Okay, I'm just going to resolder this one to give some idea of how well the thing actually flows, and we can compare that with a bent conical, which is the other tip I would generally use. So I'm going to add a little bit of flux to this. Sometimes it helps to just warm the thing up a little bit with hot air, but we'll try without first and let's see how it goes. Here is a bent conical tip on my C245 soldering iron. And you see, I'm actually causing some solder bridges there, okay? I will try warming it up, it helps. Not to melt the solder, just to get a bit of warmth into the board. Okay, and we'll go again. And we don't have the best of results. Let's try this one. Okay, I'll just turn it round so I've got a better angle to work at. I have a little bit of solder in the tip. What's it do? Okay, just a little bit too much solder. I've cleaned the reservoir a little bit, okay. Okay, I removed the excess solder. Let's go to the other side again with the bent conical and we'll do the same. We'll remove the excess solder. Or we will try to. Okay. And you'll see it doesn't really pick up the excess solder easily, okay? Whereas the BCM, because of the little reservoir which I cleaned, it's got somewhere to go. That's the way I best think of it. I mean, both soldering irons are set to the same temperature, 380. But this does a better job of it. You get a better heat transfer, I would say. Okay, so that's the side which I did with the BC2M. This is the side I did with the bent conical. And I think what we might find is because I'm having to drag the bent conical harder across the pins than I am with this, I've also bent some of them. Let's have a look under the microscope. And here are the results. So this is the side I did with the BC2M. It's flowed in nicely. I had a few solder bridges, but they were easy to remove. And this is the side I did with the bent conical, and it's a mess, okay? I was trying to remove solder bridges here, but in actual fact the pin is bent. There, we have several bent pins here and here. And this one here, well, I'm not quite sure what's happened to that one, But the only way you're going to fix that is by unsoldering the whole chip and starting again, okay? And the reason being, the bent conical, the whole length of the tip basically drags across here. It requires more pressure to get any heat transfer, and it takes the pins with it on things like this, which are very fine pitched. And the BC3, because you're floating on that little ball of solder in the reservoir, you don't require the pressure, you get good heat transfer, and that's what happens. So I think it's a very good example of where you see people doing soldering jobs and you think, you know, this guy's a wizard. Well, he might be, but more likely he's just using the right tools. You can do it, but not maybe with what you're using now. Okay, so not an expensive thing. If you can find some soldering handle for your soldering iron station that effectively gives you a very short working distance between the tip and the handle, where your fingers are in particular, that's a great advantage. The working distance with the C245 is about the same, as you can see. So if you do have this type of handle, get your hands on a BCM2 tip or the equivalent in C245 and it will work just the same. And if you're wondering which tip types are the equivalent for C245, there you go. Okay, and a little bit of explanation about the naming differences. In fact, that is one of the C245, okay? This is the 931, so you can see the difference between the two quite clearly. Okay? By the way, if you're still using one of the old style soldering irons which don't have these integrated heater tips, ask yourself why. I mean, if you're working on vintage stuff pretty much exclusively, well, we use those soldering irons on vintage stuff, yeah, and they worked. But if you're working on anything more modern, up to date with multi-layer boards and such like, you really should consider going with this sort of way. Far more efficient, far better heat transfer. And now the power turbo fan. So obviously an ideal use for this is cleaning PCBs and generally cleaning detritus out of electronic equipment. Okay, you can see we have a few different nozzles for this. They fit on very easily. This one, which has like holes in the end, I think this is possibly for inserting into inflatables, like, you know, air mattresses and stuff. Could be wrong. Okay. And this fan is extremely powerful. So, long press on the button. We're at 98% at the moment. Okay, this is your trigger. And the various power levels. Okay. And that has, well, you can see what it's doing to my hand, okay? And my hair, yeah. I mean, this is powerful enough to blow things across the desk, yeah. So this has a lot of power. Hold the button in to switch it off again. Hold it to switch on again. See, we went down 1%. And this also has an LED, so if you're working on something dark, you can see what you're doing. To put the light on, double tap, yeah. Okay. I mean, we can have some fun with this. This is on low setting, yeah. We turn this up. It's now blowing stuff around the desk. And here we see the turbo fans on AliExpress. So price of these, €22.65, again with free shipping. I don't have any dirty electronics at the moment. I get a lot of stuff, guys, you know, so you'll see this come out when I have something to use it on. But what I'd like to try today is something I've not done before. So I do know one method of cleaning holes in PCBs when you've desoldered things like, say, a lot of capacitors on a motherboard. Getting the capacitors out is easy. Getting the holes clean is not so easy. And one method is to use compressed air. And I'm wondering whether this is powerful enough to blow the solder out the holes. And now I've mentioned it, I bet you guys are wondering as well. So let's give it a go. Now I've done this before with various desoldering tools. I've made videos about them. The vacuum desoldering gun is the thing to use, together with some hot air. This will always clean those holes out. But let's see if we can blow the solder out using our fan. We'll also just warm this up gently with the hot air just to get some heat into this board. Lots of ground and power planes here, so I want a little bit of warmth into it. Not to melt the solder, just to gently warm the area a bit. Okay, that should be fine. And then let's try our turbo fan, which is now at 100%. So I'm going to come left-handed with the soldering iron, warm the solder up so it melts. Okay, have the fan on. High power. And no, it doesn't. Yeah. No. Well, I always enjoy experiments on this channel. I've not tried that before. All we've managed to do is spatter solder around on this side of the board, I would say. I think probably there, either I can't get enough air pressure directed into the hole because it's a wider nozzle. That's the narrowest one I have, apart from that funny shaped thing with a hole on both sides. And probably the cold air here is instantly cooling the solder as well. So I think that's why it didn't work. If one of you guys uses the air compressor technique to clear holes on boards like this, let me know how you were doing it so I can try and reproduce that. But we have solder all over here, and let's look at the other side. And honestly, nothing happened, okay? But when it comes down to cleaning PCBs, well, let's wait until I have another dirty job in, yeah? And let's see what it does with that. Okay, so a bit of fun there, I think. One more successful than the other. You guys down there, and I look forward to seeing you all soon again on Learning Electronics Repair. Ciao for now, guys.